What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Critical Views, man. I'm coming back to you with another banger. And this one is about me and my life, right? So you can have a understanding of who I am and how I get the perspective I have on the topics that I speak on, right? I'm new to this blogging and YouTube thing, right? And so I want to give you a little explanation of who I am and my life so you have a better understanding of how I got my perspectives that I got, right? But before I get into that, I want you to give me a like, a subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, help out the algorithm, help me get my my followers up, and it helped give me motivation to keep this content coming, right? All right, so me, I grew up in a small town with a single mom. My mom was a single mom. She had 3 kids, right? 3 different dads, right? So me and my siblings all had different dads. And where I grew up, that wasn't really that uncommon, right? A lot of people didn't have the same dads, right? And so that's how I grew up, right? And before I made it completely through my adolescence, right, man, I was adopted. Our dads really wasn't there, and so my mom was kind of here and there, and somewhere in between there, I think CPS got involved. They came up in the black cars and took us away, right? They took us away. Next thing you know, I remember just some people coming, grabbing us, going to a car, us crying, right? Next thing you know, I'm on an airplane, I'm out of there, and I'm in Ohio, I think somewhere in Cleveland, Ohio. I can't remember. I was like around 8 years old, 5 to 8 years old. I don't even think I was in. I haven't even started kindergarten yet, so it could have been around 4 or 5 years old, right? And so they took us, man. They took us up, and that alone, there's a jam pack of mental health issues that come with something like an experience like that for a kid, right? And so that happened. Growing up without a father, getting taken from your mom, putting in foster care, right? And so we was in foster care for a little bit. We lived out there for a little bit. It was a little traumatic, you know, trying to run away from home, sexual harassment, all that kind of stuff. And so we eventually, my grandma's aunt adopted us. We call her my grandma, right? And she adopted us, man. We grew up with her. It was still hard times because she didn't have a lot of money. She tried to do things for us so to have a good time, but it just, when you don't have your parents, kids without your parents, a mom and dad, man, it's not the same, right? It's just not the same. Oh Lord, man, look, we got a train coming through. But it just wasn't the same. Life was still hard growing up. It was hard the whole time growing up because it's not your parents. And you used to get beat a lot and stuff, and a lot of that kind of stuff. How I was raised, if I was raised my kids how I was raised, I'll be in jail, right? All right, excuse you guys. We live on the golf course, and there's also a train, right? It's a train that comes through. This one's a short one, so bear with me, man. It's a short train, see? She's done. We're gonna let that fly by. But where was I? Yeah, growing up was rough, man. I got beat a lot, and I did not like that, It made me real angry. It made me angry that somebody else had the nerve to beat me, and it wasn't my mom, I was mad because my mom then wouldn't come get me. It's like, they're not caring, I used to cry. I want my mama, but she ain't care. And they used to tell you, like, she ain't coming. She don't like you, she don't care. She not gonna come see you, all that kind of stuff. And so you deal with that stuff as a kid, and that you gotta bottle it up internally. And so I was just an angry kid, and I didn't know what to do with this anger, man. I just had to bottle it up. I wasn't in crimes. I wasn't that violent, but I kind of was, because when I got in a fight with my siblings and stuff, I just go off in the deep end. I spaz out. I black out trying to beat my siblings up, which is not good, But that's where I was. That's where I was in my life. I was just an angry person, and I wanted to kill. But I couldn't at the time. You know, I was in the church a lot, so I knew killing was wrong, but I just had the seed in me to kill, right? It was in me, but I was in church and stuff, so I knew it was wrong. I knew it was a sin, and I didn't have no weapons or nothing to do nothing. So look, so eventually I knew I wanted to join the military. I grew up watching Forrest Gump, and Forrest Gump made me fall in love with the military. I watched that thing on repeat, right? And that's what I kind of wanted to do. I wanted to go to join the military and fight and kill that way, right? And this is a child's mind, right? This was me thinking as a youth that was taken from their mom, you know, no dad, you know, getting beat, you know, not getting involved in sports. I was poor. I was in poverty, man. I was just, you know, this is how I was thinking, right? I'm giving you the insight of what it's like for a troubled young man, you know, what be going on in their head. You know, I'm poor. I'm getting bullied in school for being black. My shoes is whack. My fit is whack, right? And so I'm getting bullied for this kind of stuff, right? And so I'm just mad, you know, and I wanted to kill. And so I knew I wanted to join the military and I could kill people legally, right? And so eventually I was an honor roll student for a while, but then I hit middle school and it was more of personality than for me. It wasn't about class no more. Good grades was not rewarded. It's not, I had birthdays go by. We didn't celebrate birthdays and none of that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? I don't remember one birthday party. It wasn't a big thing, you know. Everybody else had birthday parties. We weren't invited. We didn't get to go. And so I never been to weddings and celebrations, you know what I mean? That's how my life was, just more of working, getting yelled at, getting beat. It wasn't nothing glorious as a child, you know, for me. And so I didn't care about grades no more. I knew I was gonna get beat regardless. Good grades or bad grades. I got whoopers when I had good grades. I got whoopers when I had bad grades. So I said, fuck the school shit. Cause it's like, it wasn't rewarding. And I didn't care about school no more cause I knew I wasn't going to college. Cause we couldn't afford to go to college. Shit, we barely can afford to eat right. So it's like, I knew we couldn't afford college, right? And so I said, fuck it. And so my grades was kind of taking a hit a little bit. I just made good enough to get through. C student. I'm a C student, right? And it still carry over to me today. I still don't care about school that much. But I digress. I made it to middle school. I knew I was going to join the military. And so as soon as I got to the age where I could sign up, and it was 17 at the time. At 17 years old, you could sign up for the military with your parents' permission. The recruiter came over to my house. We signed the paperwork and stuff. I'm so excited. It was a big thing to do, man. I was so excited to sign up. I was ready to go, man. And I wish they could have took me right then at 17, but I had to graduate high school first. And so I graduated school and off to the military I was. I graduated school and a week later I was off to the military, right? Off to Paris Island. Paris Island where it all began, Marine Corps, little rocks and a lot of sand, Marine Corps, right? Off to Paris Island I was for the United States Marine Corps. And man, boy, that was the experience. See, I'm trying to give you guys a short video, right? We at 8 minutes. I want to keep the video short so you can have an idea of my life. But my childhood is a whole story in itself. The Marine Corps is a whole story in itself. It's an experience that is like no other, and it deserves its own video, right? But I'm just gonna give you the quick synopsis. Man, I joined the military, boom, I graduated, I hit boot camp, but it's a lot to talk about in the Marine Corps. It was a great experience, but I hit the boot camp, boom, we graduated. I went back a little time for recruiter's assistance to see my brother graduate, and then boom, I'm off to that was in South Carolina. Then I went to North Carolina for School of Infantry, right? That's where I did my training, and that's what we trained to kill, right? The kill factory. And we did the time there in North Carolina. It was cold, man. It was in the middle of the winter. It was cold doing those field ops in the winter time. It rained and that freeze is over. Oh man, it was rough, right? We did that time, and then after we graduated, it was almost time to graduate. We got news of the units we'll go to. It was a big class, right? And we found out they was going over there to 3-5. 3-5 Kilo Company, 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines, and Camp Pendleton, right? Man, them boys had just took a big mass cash, right? They was out there in Afghanistan, and they took a big hit, man. A lot of them boys got injured. A lot of them lost their life. Some of them never came back the same, right? And so they needed reinforcements, man, and we was the class for that. At the time, I was a little nervous going up there because it was the most decorated battalion in the Marine Corps. Going all the way to the West Coast, man. I'm a Georgia boy. I'm excited, though, because it's something new. It's something different. Man, anything was better than the house, man. To get out, change environment, right? I'm out here on the West Coast, man. I hit the West Coast. I did my time with 3-5, man. It was great. It was a great experience. A lot of experience in it, man. It was different. You know, different. At first, it don't feel good. It was uncomfortable. You're in a new place, new era, and sometimes you don't like it. But uncomfortable can be a good thing because it makes you change, man. It makes you grow. Being uncomfortable is where growth is. You know what I mean? And so, no, sometimes some things I didn't like. It was uncomfortable for me that I didn't like, but that's what the growth was. You know what I mean? And so I grew a lot. I traveled the world. I think we hit over 10 different countries. By the time I hit 18, my first deployment, second deployment, we hit a few more countries. It was great, right? And a lot of growth, a lot of change. But my time came up, and I no longer wanted to be in the Marine Corps, right? In my head, it was a little change. It was change, but I didn't like it. I felt like I was always being attacked, right? My childhood trauma still on me, right? I didn't go to mental health. When you're in the military, you go to mental health, get medical, seek help, right? I didn't. They said, seek and you shall find. Ask and it shall be given to you. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you, right? Matthew 7:7. But I didn't seek these things, man. I was just going through these traumas. I was dealing with it, man. I was just dealing with it because that's all I had to do my whole life. Growing up, I didn't talk about my problems because they didn't care about my problems. And so I carried that over in life, man. The Marine Corps, he feel hard on me. I didn't tell nobody about it. I just dealt with it, right? Well, we're just dealing with it. It was showing in my personality. I was rebellious. I hated authority. My transition was bad because I got out of the military and I had a hard time working. I couldn't hold down a job, right? I said I was gonna get out, go to school. I couldn't hold down a job, man, because I'm dealing with all this stuff. And it was affecting me, man. There was one year I had about 30 jobs on I'm filing taxes. I had 30 jobs on there. They like, God dang. That didn't work most of the jobs. I just kept getting fired. I kept quitting. I was firing, getting fired, quitting. It wasn't working out. I had applied for the Hawaii Highway Patrol, but it wasn't working out for me, man. I had a real big issue with authority because of my childhood, my mental health, and all this other stuff, right? And so eventually, though, I just go to school, use my school benefits because the VA, your GI Bill, it pays you to go to school. You get a housing allowance for going to school. I'm out there in San Diego. The housing allowance is nice, right? And so it's enough to sustain. I had got the military. I had went homeless for a little bit, lost my money. But eventually my GI Bill benefits saved me. I was able to get at school, get some money up, the $2,800 from going to school. It was good money, easy work going to school. And so my girlfriend at the time, Velma, my wife now, she was staying with me and she was seeing my benefits, me going to school. I'm holding down the house at the time. I had a place for us to stay. I was getting groceries for us, going on base, getting us groceries and everything. And she seen that it was, I can manage, I was making money going to school, and she was shocked at that, you know? She was going to SDSU, right? And she had graduated school, student loan debt, and she see me going to school, happy, making money, and she was going to school struggling because, her school wasn't paid for. She taking out debt like the average black person, going to school, taking it out. And she was like, wow, that's amazing, right? She seen my benefits firsthand, and she was like, man, look, she was down. She seen my benefits. At that, she was down to join the military to get these same benefits, right? So she joined the military. We get married. She off to boot camp in Texas. It's hot. It's all get out because she went in the middle of the summer. Hot as all get out, And she graduated. And my wife was like never that kind of girl. I didn't think so. they go do that kind of stuff. I'm talking about a dead heat a day. I'm talking about when I went there to see her graduate, I'm sweating my balls. Like, it's just dripping sweat through me, right? And my clothes soaked. And she just did it. She did training like that outdoors, running with bugs and stuff in Texas. I mean, when I went to Texas and I had stopped by the gas station at nighttime, I'm talking about so many bugs, dog. When the lights on at the gas station, I'm talking about it's just a cloud, like a big old cloud of bugs just swarming around this gas station. I didn't even want to get out the car because to get gas because there's that many bugs, you know? But my wife did it, and she ain't that kind of girl, you know? She don't like bugs, outdoor stuff and all that, but she did it, you know? Easy work, right? And she went off to finance school out there in Mississippi, did her training, and completed the finance school real good. She completed everything she needed, and then I started following because I became a dependent, right? We was married, and I became a military dependent, right? And so I'm in school using my benefits. I'm trying to complete school. She's going to Mississippi, and then we went to Hawaii. That's where we bought our first house in off a auction, right? It was an auction. We bought our first house at an auction. It wasn't a tax lien sale, it was an auction. And somebody was liquidating their portfolio. I think they died and their portfolio was liquidating, and it was an auction. We bought a house. Our first house was $7,000. 7 bands. We bought our first house. It was in the ghetto. It was in the hood, but the return on investment, we paid $7K cash. We had a tenant in it. I think they was paying about $500 a month for $7,000. 2 years, you got your money back. Great investment, right? It's just, you know, dealing with those kind of people. That's the thing you got to deal with. When you buy houses in the hood, you got to deal with hoodlums, right? And that's what we had to deal with. So sometimes the rent got paid, but it's just cash. You paid for the house cash. It was, you know what I mean? You didn't even need rent. It's like you got a whole house, $7,000 cash. You know, we didn't need the money. We had it. We had saved up a little bit. I had got my hustle back on, started saving money real good. I downsized. I was living in an apartment, and then I got smart with my money. I was like, I'm gonna start house hacking. I started living in a room. I went from living in an apartment paying $1,200 to living in a room paying $400 while my wife is training in school. And so I'm stacking all my school money. I'm stacking money now. In 3 months, I done saved over $7,000. That's one way to do it. If you are a single person, house hack, man. House hack or rent a room, save all the money you can, and then go on and buy a house, you know, or buy a house and rent out the rooms if you're a single person. But that's what we did. We were saving money. That's how we got our first house. Second house, we got stationed in Hawaii. I used my VA loan. We got our second house out there in Hawaii, right? And from there, we stayed in Hawaii, did 4 years out there, the most beautiful place, one of the most beautiful places in America, right? A beautiful place. I enjoyed it. I met a lot of great people, a lot of great mentors out there. Man, they gave me more perspective, but I was still dealing with trauma, right? I'm still dealing with this stuff. School's cool, but I'm still dealing with stuff, you know, transitioning, moving a lot, still stuff I ain't dealing with. But that's why I start handling it, right? I started seeking mental health, start getting help with my mental health and everything. And that's when I started talking about the things I was going through and I dealt with. And then I seen how it was affecting me, just telling people about it. I'm breaking down, man, you know, I'm hearing the things I'm saying, and it's like, wow, I'm really saying these things, you know? And it sounded crazy. And then that's why it's important. So you can hear, you can have an echo chamber, you know, you can hear what you're saying. You can hear how you feel. And then it gave me some perspective, man. Mental health is good. I don't think you should go in there and be in there forever. Go in there, engage yourself. You know what I mean? Be cognitive of how you talking and how you feeling, and get engaged with it, right? And so I started wanting to deal with my issues, right? I said, you know, I feel this way because I was separated from my mom and dad. Well, I'm out the house now, and I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna go see, you know, I'm gonna go talk to them. I'm gonna go see how I feel, you know, see what I missed out on. I talked to them, and I see that my mom and dad at the time, it's kind of a blessing, not saying, but it's like they wasn't in the best shoes, you know. So I reconnected with them though. I talked to them, see what they're going through, see why I couldn't be with them, you know. And I got the answers. I seeked. That's why Matthew 7:7, seek and you shall find. Ask and it shall be given to you. Knock and the door shall be open. Do these things, man, right? And you get your answers. And I got my answers. And then I realized, like, oh, well, I'm doing quite well for myself. You know, I'm on my second house at the time. All right, we did Hawaii, and then we moved to Georgia. In Georgia, we bought another house. The VA loan is great, right? My wife had benefits, I had benefits. And so we both can exhaust our benefits now at the time. And I'm seeking help at the time. My mental health is getting better. I'm reconnecting with my dad's side of the family. I had connected with my granddad. We moved to Georgia, and I connected with him. He was a great man. Vietnam veteran, first sergeant in the Army. He worked in, he was with artillery. Great man, right? He retired with the city, driving buses, and he was a farmer. You know, he ran a little liquor store business. It was a great man. I didn't even know I had that kind of men in my family, right? And we was connecting, right? I moved to Georgia, and I just got with him. Great. We talk in the trash, and he was a no nonsense kind of guy, you know. And I learned a lot from him. And I mean, that first year I was there, we kicking it, we shooting, we at the range, we going fishing, right? We reconnected. It was great. But soon up in that year, man, bad news hit us like a truck, man. I'm reconnected. I'm feeling weight come off my shoulder, right? Not being with my father on my dad's side, but with my granddad was like, it was amazing, right? Oh man, it made me feel this big. He was so proud of me. I was in the Marines. I'm a big, strong guy, man. I'm gung-ho. I'm tight with it, you know. And he was just proud of me. I own 2 houses, and he was so proud of me. He was always bragging on me. So he made me feel like a big man, dog. You know what I mean? Being with my granddad made me feel big. It made me feel so much weight off my shoulder. I got so much bigger then. I always felt kind of small and worthless. But being around him, I started feeling big, and then I felt complete, you know? Now nobody can tell me nothing, you know? Because now I got that closure in my family, and I don't feel lacking, right? But bad news came. He got pancreatic cancer, right? My granddad was a man that was, he wasn't scared of death. He had his casket in his closet. He dug his grave. He had his headstone with the beginning date and everything. He had everything ready. And he faced death every day in a sense, you know? He was prepared for it. But then he got the news for the cancer, which hit me hard because, oh man, I just seen his personality change. You know, he got it. He's still a hardcore man. It didn't put him down. He wasn't like sad or nothing. I mean, we run to the doctor. He trying to get sick. He's sick. He ain't feeling good. Pain run through. We take him to the doctor. And then I kept taking the doctor. And one day we go to the hospital, and the doctor said, "Look, next time he feel like this, don't bring him back. Can't do nothing for him." Looked me dead in the eyes and told me. And then he gave my granddad straight news. It's like, this is it, man. You just deteriorating. It's good. It's time to transition. And my granddad just took it on the chin like a champ. You know what I mean? I never seen nobody take the news of death. I never hung out with people. I never seen nobody die like on their dying days, you know. And he wasn't dead. You know, he still talking that shit and swallowing spit. You know, like he always been. And he just took it, and he just been that way. And then he started losing weight a lot, you know. He started getting sicker, and that's just happening. But he never was like a sorrowful person, you know. He lived his life, and he just took it, and he started transitioning. And eventually, before he got sick and real sickly, where he couldn't walk and stuff, when he was still in his good mind, he put me on the wheel. He willed everything to me. He was so proud of me. He gave me everything. He trusted me. And he did right, because I'm the right person to trust. And I'm the right guy with the job, for the job, you know. And he trusts me with everything, and then carry out his will, and I will. And eventually, though, he got sick and started losing weight. He couldn't walk as well. He had to get on a walker. Next thing you know, his last days came, and I was there holding his hand on his last day, his last breath. And that was an experience for me, to lose my granddad, but it brought something out of me to see him die, and die like a champ. You know what I mean? He didn't cry. He wasn't sad. You know what I mean? It's like being around him was like, I don't know, it made me bigger. It made me more of a man. It prepared me for life, prepared me for death. It made me want to prepare for death, right? And I appreciate my granddad, and long live Isaiah McBride, right? And so that was my stage in Georgia, right? And I lost that last part of my family, and that part is closure for that side of my family, because the rest of my family, their mental health ain't good, and it was like that was the last person I could connect with on that side, right? And so my mom's side, I'm still okay with them, but my wife wanted to reconnect with her family, so here we are, Southern California, right? We're on our 5th house, right? We out here on this beautiful golf course, the Morongo Golf Course, out here in the Inland Empire, right? It's a beautiful place, beautiful weather. Very expensive though. Got a nice, big, beautiful house right out here too. And yeah, man, we rent out our other houses, and that's our thing, man. I'm an investor, right? We do the real estate thing, right? And that's where I'm at. That's a quick synopsis of my life, right? And so you get a little background. So when I give it my perspective, it's my perspective, right? I'm trying to give you my perspective. Might help you think a little bit outside the box, right? Because my life is outside the box. It's not the normal life, right? And I can see things maybe how somebody with their parents probably can't see things. A lot of people think we grew up with a silver spoon in our mouth because of how I'm living now, but it was not the case, right? But each of my stories deserve its own video, right? My childhood, my military experience, the veteran experience, transitioning, right? Because there's a lot of veterans, they transition, they get on drugs, they get down bad, right? They get out of shape, they got injuries and stuff to deal with. That's a talking point, right? My childhood's a talking point. I can help kids growing up with single mothers, how to navigate, how I navigated, and what you need to do to help you get around some men, get around some upstanding men. You can't stay around women your whole life. Women are helpful and cool and all, but every child needs men in their life. And we're going through a fatherless crisis right now. That's what's happening. It's a lot of people that don't have fathers in their life. They don't have men in their life. And that's where I'm coming through this medium, right? I want to be like a mentor to you, right? Or a mentee, right? I'm a mentee, a mentor. And through this medium, I can give you information. I can be a guy you could talk to. I will open up sessions one day. Like if you want advice, I'm giving advice. You know what I mean? If you want to email me, reach out to me, email me, contact me, and for advice, for mentorship, I'm giving it, right? I'm open to everything, and because I want to be asset to my community, asset to you guys, right? And I think we lacking a father, we lacking a masculine man, and I want to be here for you. I want to be a resource. I want to be a slave to you, right? So you can use me how you will, right? I won't let you use me up, right? But I will let you exhaust me, right? Exhaust my brain, pick it, peel it, take ideas from me, flip it, make it your own, right? And so yeah, that's my story, right? But I'm gonna break it up. I'm gonna break down the military experience. I'm gonna break that all down to give you guys more perspective. But that's a little bit about me now. So we in investing. I'm married now. The girl I met back in the day, we married now. We've been together 12 years, married over 6, right? We got 3 kids together, 3 daughters. I'm a girl dad, all girls, 3 girls, right? And so I'm gonna give perspective. Like if you a girl and you was looking for like father advice and you didn't grow up with a father, I can give some advice. Some advice I wouldn't give you no advice I wouldn't give my daughters, or my son if I had a son, right? And so that's where we at. And yeah, man, look, if you like this kind of content, man, subscribe. I'm a gun guy, dog. I like guns. I believe in self-defense. We're gonna talk about protecting. Protection. I believe in protecting myself and protecting others around me. I believe in carrying. I believe in my Second Amendment. I believe in all that kind of stuff, right, man? And so we're going to talk about these things, right? I believe in fitness, man. Fitness, family, finance. You know what I mean? Freedom. I love this country, right? And so we're going to talk about these things. But that's an insight of me, of my life. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon. I grew up hard. I'm living the American dream. Me, myself, and these views, you see this? I never had this view. I never dreamed of it. And this is the American dream. Look, somewhere over here, Jeff Bezos is my neighbor, right? He got a factory over there. But yeah, man, I never dreamed of it, and I never knew I could have a life like this. And God is good, and this life is better than I deserve, right? And so I share my experiences and my information with you, right? And so if you like this kind of content, man, look, give me a like, subscribe, man, thumbs up, thumbs down. But remember, man, thoughts become things. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Well, until next time, you guys, I'm gonna say peace.